following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Arizona. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Welcome to the program. This is Brother Mike back, ready to rumble. Today's Bible study, The Exorcist. Today on Hardcore, facts you never knew about that incredible movie. Hey, will you call somebody and tell the radio programs on? This is time for me to do a couple quick announcements, and let me get to the peer review. That's what all my stuff is. It's all peer reviewed. Yes, sir. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com and the Arizona Deliverance Center. We're downtown on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. It's the red brick building. We have 2 live services every week at 7 p.m. Thursday, 7 p.m. Friday, Pacific time and Arizona time. We have a deliverance Zoom service every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time and Arizona time. Brother Rick, Pete, Steve, the rest of the guys, they're killing it. You wouldn't believe the number of people getting delivered on this Zoom service. It lasts about 4 hours, so if you're late, no problemo. If you need a religious exemption for the monkeypox, send me an email, Mike@HardcoreChristianity.com. I'll send it out right away. If you know somebody who needs to be delivered and healed, but they can't come to the deliverance center, no problemo. Send me an email, Mike@HardcoreChristianity.com. I'll send you the miracle list, a step-by-step guide to complete freedom that works 100% of the time. All my old radio shows are archived. You just go to the website, go to the top of the website, hit the media tab, hit the streaming radio tab, then hit the click here tab, and you're there, ready to go. The Exorcist. In December, the day after Christmas, 1973, the scariest and most economically profitable horror movie came out in theaters in the United States, and it was like nothing anybody had ever seen before. And, of course, after that, we've seen all kinds of knockoffs and the trilogy and the different things. But America, as you know, is going to go virtually totally to witchcraft. Okay? And the Bible specifically says it. Check this out. Revelation chapter 9. This is the judgment chapter. The vials are open. The demons are loosed. And in verse 20, it says, the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues would not repent of the works of their hands, worshiping demons and idols of gold, silver, brass, and stone, and wood. Neither did they repent of their murders, their fornication, their thefts, and their sorceries. Greek word pharmakia. Those are spells. It means witchcraft spells involving lotions, potions, or things like that. And generally speaking, people talk about pharmakia, the Greek word, and they lump in medications, alcohol, drugs, different things like that. And, it's a kind of a fair way to look at it. Thefts. They would not repent of their thefts. That's the Greek word klema. It means stealing things. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 18, Jehovah, the Hebrew God, warned the Jews. He said, I'm sending you into the promised land, but you will not learn the abominations of the nations that I am driving out before you. And he said, quote, there shall not be found among you anyone that makes his son or daughter pass through the fire, i.e. child abuse, or that uses divination, or is an observer of times, or is an enchanter, or is a witch, a charmer, a wizard, or a necromancer, or worst of all, anyone who is a consulter of familiar spirits. You can see the whole planet is being prepped with witchcraft. And back in 1973, America got hit with the worst load of witchcraft in the history of the movie industry. You know this story. And it's kind of an interesting one. William Peter Blatty was attending a lecture at Georgetown University. One of the professors mentioned this very unusual exorcism that occurred in St. Louis, Missouri. And again, I don't have much time on the radio, but plowing through everything, he researched everything he could about it. He interviewed William Bodern, who was one of the priests involved in the exorcism, and he got from another source a copy of his daily diary of the exorcism. And the thing was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Blatty, of course, was involved in the movie The Exorcist. And to prove that demons exist, you need look no further than the making of that movie. Okay? A lot of strange things went on in that movie. Linda Blair played the role of Reagan, the 13-year-old girl, and she was tormented by death threats and had to have a security crew for several years. The director of the film, the guy's name was Friedkin, would shoot guns on the set in order to get a scary reaction from the actors. In the scene where the priest is kneeling at Reagan's bedside to anoint her to be delivered, just before he did that, the director slapped him across the face in order to get him to be shaking and fearful looking during that scene. They froze that room below 40 degrees so that you could see everybody's breath. Okay? One of the actors, Jack McCowran, and another one of the actresses, Valencia Marlios, both died shortly after filming the movie. The main actor, Max von Sydow, the main priest, his brother passed away during the production of the movie. The guy who voiced the demon, his name was Mercedes McCambridge, ended his wife and 2 daughters before taking his own life after being accused of fraud in November of 1987. He killed him, he murdered him, and he murdered himself. All totaled, this is just a sampling, 9 people associated with that movie died during or immediately after the filming of it. Can you imagine that? Remember that scene where Reagan spit up that green pea soup? Do you remember that scene, the vomit scene? Well, at first they used Campbell's soup, but it didn't have the consistency, but they ended up using Anderson's pea soup mixed with oatmeal. That's how they filmed that. But the truth of the matter is, Blatty researched that movie, and it was based on an actual case of deliverance of a 14-year-old boy that occurred in 1949 in Maryland. He was from Maryland and later moved to Missouri. He was originally prayed for by a Lutheran pastor and a Catholic priest. The case was way too far beyond their skill level, so they referred it out. The guy's name was Ronald Hunkler. Hunkler had been visited by his aunt shortly before the exorcism started, and she brought in a Ouija board. She bought him one. And the exorcisms lasted from March of 1949 until the end of April 1949. And while they were doing the exorcism, a series of supernatural activities happened, and there were 14 separate witnesses who verified the scrapes on the torso of the lettering, the demons talking in very low voices, and the partial levitations, the chronic swearing, screaming, and cursing at the priests. All of this was fully documented by numerous witnesses. I guess some of them could have been witches. And everybody that was involved in the case, not one person walked away saying that the case had been faked. Each time someone was involved in the case, they could not believe their eyes. This was a supernatural series of events. And in St. Louis, one night while Ronald was in bed and they were performing the exorcism, he suddenly saw a vision of Michael the Archangel coming into his room and commanding Satan to loose the boy and come out. And that's what happened. The devil left the kid and he was completely restored. All the witnesses saw the supernatural events, pictures flying off the wall, furniture moving around, the bed jumping around on its own. Everybody saw it. And this guy later became a NASA engineer. You imagine that? He got his bachelor's degree in chemical engineering, and he got another bachelor's degree in psychology. He got married, had 3 kids, 2 sons and a daughter. He named his first son Michael after the archangel that saved him. Listen, friends, practically everybody in the world believes in the spirit world, and they know that God and Satan, angels and demons are real, except people who have advanced degrees, particularly PhDs. Those people profess themselves to be wise, but then they become fools. If you're being involved in a Ouija board and you picked up demons, 602-636-5800, please call now.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.